Thank you for joining us on Locked On Bulls. On today's episode, we'll talk about what player that struggled in last night's game against the Milwaukee Bucks can be key to Game 2 victory for the Chicago Bulls. We'll get into all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Now, Pat, I don't know about you. We've had about 24 hours to marinate on the Bulls' loss, and with that comes some clarity on some things that we like to see the team do a little bit better. So I'm just going to ask you this simple question: what player that struggled last night do you think is going to be key to the Bulls being able to get a victory in Game 2?
For me, that's an easy one, my boy. Zach LaVine.
Okay.
You make your name in the NBA playoffs. I don't know if anybody saw the game last night, but Jalen Brunson just dropped 40. If you've been watching Jalen Brunson all year, you know what kind of player he is. But guess what? Now the world knows what kind of player Jalen Brunson is because he just dropped 40 in the playoffs. You make your name in the playoffs. Now, I think Zach LaVine's a max player. I do. I think that Zach LaVine is he's probably not going to get the super max. I don't think he makes an all-NBA team, but I think he's a max player, $208 million player. I do believe that. But I could believe everything I want. I need you to show me. I need you to come out and be the three-point threat that Milwaukee's going to give up. I need you to come out and be the dominant force, the leader of this team, the number one on this team moving forward. Show the world. Prove to everybody in Bulls Nation. Prove to everybody in the rest of the NBA why everybody that believes in you has the right to believe in you. I need to see that level of effort from Zach LaVine in Game 2. And I need him to be the one that steps up because you know what? The shot that he does best, 38% from the field, is the three-point shot. And if you're going to be good, if you're going to show out versus this Milwaukee team, they give up the most threes in the NBA, that's the shot you need to do it with. I mean,
I agree
honestly,
with everything you said. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I agree with everything you said. My mind when we came up with this, it immediately went to DeMar just because of how bad DeMar was. But, for a lot of basketball reasons and a lot of storyline reasons, it needs to be Zach LaVine. You're about to be our max contract player. This is your team, right? And very much people have now confused us with thinking that this is DeMar's team. DeMar's here for a good time, not a long time. Yeah. Zach LaVine's here for a good time. For a long time. And because of that, Zach needs to show out. And I understand you have the knee issue. I understand that. But you have to show out at some point in this playoffs. And you have to remind everyone why you are the player that Chicago believes in, why we stand behind Zach LaVine, why we've seen you just the time that you've been here and the coaches that you've gone through. And we still said, you know what? We want this kid on our team. Yeah. Zach LaVine has to be the one to step up. And I've said this before too, not even just with the basketball wise. I need to see Zach LaVine start stepping up to become an actual leader. And this is where leaders are born. Playoff series like these. If Zach LaVine can come in the series and play much better, lead this team at least on the court, it goes a long way in just showing everyone, the NBA world, the Bulls fans, Bulls Nation, what Zach LaVine can, will, and should mean to this team going forward. It absolutely has to be Zach LaVine, in my opinion.
Yeah. You're close, right? For a 50, 40, 90 player. Now, you were much closer last season. This season, due to injury and things like that, his percentages are down. But this season, 47% from the field, 38% from the three-point line, 85% from the free throw line. I believe you're that guy. I believe you're that level of player. I believe that you're a dominant force in this NBA. But you have to show that these numbers are not just regular season numbers. There's some players that are built for 82. And then when the playoffs get here, they don't have that in them. I don't believe Zach LaVine's that level of player, and I think that he's dealing with the injury. And I'll tell you what, the fact that he's fighting through the injury to play on the court still, hey, listen, I love to see it. But you know what? You're out there, and this is your team. I like how you said, like, DeMar. It is DeMar. You know what? I'll say this. This season's team is DeMar DeRozan's team. But there's moments where you got to learn and you have to take that mantle, right? And I think Zach LaVine needed somebody who could help him get to the playoffs and teach him what it was going to take to get to this point. You're at this point now. Let's hope this point continues. Let's hope we're talking about a second round. A third round is going to be a tough uphill battle versus the Milwaukee Bucks. But the first thing you got to do to get you to that point, to get you to that next level, I'll tell you right now, it's not come out in the game 2 and play the way you did in game 1. I give him credit. Listen, came out, fought, made some tough shots, but you still shot pretty poorly. And the poor shooting is the exact thing that took your team out of this game. In game 2, I don't care if DeMar shoots 5 for 26 again. You know what? Why DeMar shooting 5 for 26 affected him so much in Toronto? Because there was nobody else that could not shoot 5 for 26 on the team. Kyle Lowry was meh. DeMar DeRozan was meh. You know what I'm saying? That was the combination you had going up against LeBron James. Guess what? We got Zach LaVine. We got Nikola Vucevic. Vooch can come out and not the three-point shot. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be up and down. But he's got to take that shot anyway to make the defense be honest. But Zach, you got to be able to make that shot when the ball comes to you. Do I want Vooch to knock that down? Yeah, that's a whole different conversation. But for me, Zach LaVine has to hit that shot. He has to have that playoff moment. And this is the game he has to do it in. Because I tell you right now, you go down 0-2 to, to the Milwaukee Bucks, we're having a completely different conversation.
That's for sure. That's for sure. It looks completely different. Like I said, if the Bulls can steal a game in Milwaukee, I was hoping that was going to be the first one, just kind of take some of that initial momentum.
Right.
But if it could be that second one heading into Chicago, it drastically changes what the series can look like. And, you know, I don't know if Zach LaVine quite understands the magnitude of this moment. You said on last night's episode, Nikola Mirotic was the one that he was the only one playing like he.
Run it back, my boy.
Whoa.
You went back about 10 years on me right there, my boy.
Whoa.
Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
Whoa. Nikola Vucevic was the only one who was playing like he understood the moment and what it meant last night and what possibly getting that win could mean for the team. We need everybody to understand that urgency going into Wednesday's game. You know, and first of all, has there ever been such a large gap between game 1 and game 2? From Sunday to Wednesday?
You know what? I feel like most of the teams had it though, right? Most of the teams had a 2-day off layoff, or no, just us.
I haven't really been paying attention to the other team. I mean, maybe it's a new thing they're doing this season, but I can't remember past seasons where this has happened like this.
I know. You know what? It's even weirder in this series. I'm kind of glad we do have it, because you get the first game, you get a day of practice in there, and maybe because of the week off, they wanted them to have another day of practice in there or something. But I do like the fact that the Wednesday game is then on Friday, and we're not just doing it like the 90s where or like early in the 2000s where it's like, hey, they take planes there now, dog. Like these mugs live right next to each other. It's a bus ride. I don't need 3 days in between games for him to get ready. Like
exactly.
He was there yesterday. Miles. He slept at home.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, the Bulls need to come out firing. And you know, not to go over anything that we've already gone over on the podcast, but the Bulls did a lot of great things. A lot of great things in the game. So, you know, hopefully they've taken those things, they've built upon them, and they come in. But I really do need to see Zach LaVine locked in. And one thing that I do want to say as well, Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams did a very good job defensively. And I don't know if Billy Donovan's going to go too much offensively because of what the defensive assignment that he has to go to. But here, what I'm going to present this to you just real quick. I know we don't have much time here. DeMar has another down game. Let's just say he does. Who else do you think needs to step up then? We're already saying Zach needs to. What other player needs to give a good contribution?
It's got to I don't want to change it. We kind of said, like, you can't really go at Vooch, right? Vooch was dominant down low. The mix of things, you know what I'm saying? Like he played really well inside, but that outside game has to improve. I need you to make at least 40% of your 3-point shots. I know that might be asking a lot, but I mean, he took 10. Give me 4. Yeah, put it in that perspective. He's got to, because you saw how it instantly changed the defense on the floor. Like, he knocked down a 3. All of a sudden, Brook Lopez is playing outside. Alex Caruso instantly gets a bucket down low, wide open, because everybody's playing on the perimeter.
Yeah.
Like, it immediately changed what they want to do. So for me, that's one thing I want to see them adjust. And then on the other side, I mean, we're going to talk about this on the other side, but you need a better offensive output or a better offensive threat, possibly from Ayo Dosunmu, and we'll get into that as well.
Yeah, and we'll get into what we want to see from Ayo Dosunmu heading into game 2. But first, I want to talk to you guys about Prize Picks. So, NBA fans, are you looking for a daily fantasy option for the NBA? Then you need to try the award-winning app Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. I love it, and I know you guys will too. It's easy to use. You pick 2 to 5 players and an over/under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 times on any entry. It's just you versus the projected numbers. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. Prize Picks is safe and offers fast withdrawals. Use the award-winning app on both the App Store and Google Play. PrizePick offers a variety of options. As far as right now, for a limited time, PrizePicks has an exclusive no-brainer offer for all of our users. Users get $50 free if a player in your first PrizePicks entry scores a single point, but you must use the code NBA. That's right. This is an exclusive offer available to Locked On fans. Sign up today and use the code NBA for $50 free if a player in your first Prize Pick entry scores a single point. But I also got to talk to you guys about BetOnline. BetOnline is the number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs and the start of the Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all the sports wagering information, from live betting to playoffs to esports and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. And also, thank you for making us your first listen. You already know. And for your next listen, go and check on Locked On NBA, where you get nightly recaps of every NBA game with analysis from our local experts. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. All right, Pat, all that being done and said, Ayo Dosunmu, game 2. What do you want to see from the young bull in game 2?
You know what? Prove to me you're supposed to be on the court. There's a reason that Ayo's not on the court. I know a lot of Bulls fans might not like it. I know a lot of Bulls fans might look at it and say he's earned this time to be on the court. Ayo gets cooked by Drew.
Yes.
There hasn't been a game this season where Drew Holiday hasn't absolutely destroyed Ayo Dosunmu on the court. Not to say that I expect the rookie to be the number one option there. Like, I think we also have to remember, hey, he was a second-round pick that wasn't supposed to be this good. But here we are. You've gotten starters time, but in every single game, he's cooked you. So this is why you have Alex Caruso, yeah, I said it right. Ayo Dosunmu, Alex Caruso. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. This is why you have Alex Caruso in the starting lineup. Because Caruso can come out. He's a little more versatile if he ends up getting switched on to Giannis, which you know they want to do with the guard. He has a little more body where he can actually play that way, and he can body up with him. Not going to stop him. It's still Giannis. Let's relax. But he has a little more body where he can play up on him, at least hold him for a second. The double team comes. You actually saw that work last night where Caruso was getting backed in by Giannis. Kobe White came down, helped on the double team. Giannis kicked it out. Now you're rotating around. Defense works perfectly. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom. It all goes well. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, here's the thing that you have to show me. You got on the court, gave me a couple of rebounds, gave me a couple of assists, missed your 1 3-point shot. I don't need you in this series as the defensive threat that you've been against Drew Holiday. Because right now we can see the gap there. I need you to be the guy you were in the last 2 games where you were 7 for 10, where you were 9 for 18, where you went 3 for 6 from the 3-point line. I need you to be that guy because I need that guy more in this series. And I feel like that's a little bit on Billy Donovan. You know, for me, it's about, hey, let Ayo know, listen, we want you to go out there. We don't want you to say don't play defense, but shift your focus here. We need scoring. We need somebody that's going to step up offensively. I want to see you step up offensively. I know there was a lot of people that were like, I needed to see more Ayo. I didn't like him not being in the rotation last night. I want to see him show me that he should be on the court in this moment, right? He hasn't scored the ball well down this stretch. The last couple of games he did that he was in, minus last night where he didn't score a point. But I need to see him being that offensive threat more so than the defensive threat. Because on the defensive end, we can all say, listen, the kid's giving you this on defense. The kid's giving you this on defense. Guess what? Marcus Smart just won Defensive Player of the Year. Kyrie Irving still cooked him.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see more from him. Do I want to see him on more time on the court? Yeah, I would like to see him. He played 8 minutes. Give me 12 to 15, but I would also like to see you earn those 12 to 15. Everybody else that got on the court at a minimum, I mean, not everybody's going to come at me and be like, well, DeMar DeRozan shouldn't be on the court, and if that's the case, but like little difference in players there. Yeah, I'm saying. So, I mean, what do you think? What do you think we should see more Ayo Dosunmu heading into this game too?
I was honestly surprised that we saw so less of Ayo because Ayo's been trusted since the first game of this season, right? And yeah, Drew has given him the work every time they've played the Bucks this season. I was still surprised to see it because usually Ayo can do enough things out there. But one thing that I will say, and just being honest, is that Ayo has been afraid to shoot in big moments. And the playoffs are a series of big moments, of big moments, of big moments. So maybe Billy Donovan is taking I'm going to ramp him up. I wanted to get his feet wet in the first game. I'm going to probably ramp him up a little bit more. And maybe we don't see a lot of Ayo. Maybe we don't see 12 to 15 minutes of Ayo Dosunmu until they're at home in Chicago, because then Ayo's maybe a little bit more comfortable. Maybe that's the route Billy Donovan's going. But what Ayo's been able to do, like I think in that stretch that the Bulls had where they were getting tons of turnovers and being out in the fast break, Ayo would have been lovely to have out there when that was going on.
Yeah.
So, if he has to earn his minutes, I completely understand that. This is the playoffs. I completely understand that. He's a rookie. But I would definitely like to see more Ayo because I think Ayo is going to find a way to contribute in some facet of the game. I truly believe that. Maybe I have too much faith on a rookie to be able to do that in the first playoff series against defending champions.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to see Ayo get a little bit more of an opportunity, a little bit more of a chance to flash some things, to learn through some mistakes. But that being said, the Bulls were playing tight that whole game. And I think if they had taken a lead briefly and hit some of those momentum shots we talked about that they missed before, maybe we would have saw more of Ayo Dosunmu down the stretch.
Probably. And you see more Tristan, and you see more of a lot of the guys that we didn't see because you needed that scoring instead of that defense at that moment. In 4 games this season versus Ayo, Drew's averaging 19, 6, and 4. That first game, I don't know how much Ayo played in that one. But Drew had 13, 4, and 2. Low scoring game, 41% from the field. But those second two, 26, 8, and 5. 27 and 7, and we saw him get it early. I think the thing that Billy Donovan's scared of is you put the rookie out there on Drew starts cooking, and now Drew's hot, and Giannis is Giannis, and now you're trying to cover them two, and now Chris Middleton can get himself going because you're trying to cover them two so much, and now he gets himself going in. Like it's a domino effect, and so I don't mind seeing Ayo more off of the bench. I do like the call by Billy not to put him in the starting lineup.
Oh, agree. I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah,
wholeheartedly agree with that.
There's a lot of people that's like, he bled for you this season and you took him out in the most important moment. It's like, relax. Like he did, but like he didn't Cade Cunningham for us this season. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
exactly. That is a fact. That is a fact. And I was gonna ask you something, and I lost my train of thought there for a second. I don't even remember. How do you think? What do you think about that? That because we don't have much of a point guard rotation without Ayo and Alex Caruso right now. So, how do you think that Billy Donovan did use the rotation? We saw a lot of Derrick Jones Jr. What did you think overall? We didn't really talk about that last night. What did you think about the rotation that Billy Donovan did go to in his first playoff game?
Personally, I mean, I like the rotation. I mean, listen, I get the people that are like, you got to bench DeMar if he's playing poorly. You don't bench DeMar. It's game 1 of a playoff series. You want DeMar to get confidence. You want DeMar to find his shot. I didn't have an issue with it too much. I understand there's a lot of people that, the 2K community thinks everybody can run for 100% of the time.
Yeah.
there were some moments where you saw Billy sit some guys down that helped us get the lead. I think Kobe White ended up sitting down when he started to get going a little bit, and I think Vooch ended up sitting down. But we don't know what the fatigue level of those guys is at that point. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for me, you did enough to win that game. Minus shooting well. You played poorly. They played poorly. You did enough to win that game. I don't have a lot of complaints coming out of this game. My biggest Billy Donovan complaint is maybe I would have thrown that challenge on that over the back call. Because I didn't know the rules, so I didn't want to kill him in the post-game show. But maybe I'd have thrown that challenge on that over the back call. But then you also have to remember, and I keep telling y'all, say it with me now, we ain't gonna get them calls. They're not finna throw the MVP out of the game.
Yeah,
they're not going to throw the finals MVP out of the game from last season. We are not going to get those calls. I had mugs in my chat too, just like, so you agree the NBA's rigged? Why watch the game then? And I was like, fam, because Jordan fed off of them. Like, what you want me to do? I'm not going to be biased now when I lived off of these for 6 championships, when I've watched Kobe live off of it, watched LeBron live off of it, watch Steph Curry live off. Like, it's what it is. It's the NBA. They're a little biased, man. It's okay. Yeah. Hey, man, we want to keep it pushing, though. We do want to get into this final topic, but before we do that, we want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by RockAuto.com. With the ever-increasing number of makes and models in cars, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure often pointless or seemingly intimidating questions like, is your Odyssey an LX or an EX? And wait for the person behind the counter to just type away on the computer, choosing only the brands that their warehouse happens to carry. You have computers with access to rockauto.com at home and in your pocket. Here's the things you got to understand. You're saving time and money using Rock Auto. Why choose to spend 30% more, even 50% more, even 100% more for the same parts from a chain store or car dealership when you can go to rockauto.com? Rock Auto's prices are reliably low for every single customer. So here's all you got to do. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck, right? Locked on in there. How did you hear about us box so that they know we sent you? Amazing selections, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need at rockauto.com.
All right, there you go. Last topic of the day. The Bulls, surprisingly, get the 18th pick in the draft. Now, I had fallen off of Draft Watch. I was really going to do more attention to that towards the offseason. The Bulls were so good this season. I guess I just kind of locked in my mind that we were going to be like early to mid-20s.
Yeah.
The 18th pick in the draft. That's near lottery pick. Now, we saw what AK and Eversley did with a second-round draft pick, bro. Like, that's crazy. Go ahead, bro.
Oh, no, I'm listening. I'm just listening to dog. Like, it's hilarious, bro. It's, you know what it is? It's one of them things that makes you go, I don't know about that. Yeah, like Derrick Rose to the Chicago Bulls. We won a lot of games this year. We had the number 1 overall pick. Yeah, it's not that bad, but it was one of them where when I saw it today, I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, oh, we won a tiebreaker with
Minnesota.
Oh, with Minnesota, right? We won a tiebreaker with Minnesota for the 18th pick in the draft. And I was like, we're doing draft breakdown right now? Like, what the heck does that even mean? But, I mean, listen, for me, right, like, and I'll pose the question to you, what do we do with it?
I've had this theory for a long time. Keep in mind, the Bulls could not trade their own first-round pick at this trade deadline. I do think that that's a very big reason why the Bulls did not make a move at this trade deadline, because you have more assets if you wait till the draft. They can trade their own first-round pick during the draft. So if the Bulls are going to make a move for either another star, another solid player, somebody who can come in and fix a lot of the bench issues that we have, I think the move to be made is at the draft. When you look at, again, these are not players that I necessarily think that are going to be moved, but like when you just look at the expiring contracts that we're going to have on this team, you have Javonte, right? Who I don't want to see gone. You have Kobe White. You have Nikola Vucevic. Derrick Jones Jr. is a unrestricted. Troy Brown Jr. is unrestricted. Tony Bradley is a partially guaranteed, meaning that technically the Bulls could package him in a deal during the draft to trade him with another team, send some money along with that. That team can then cut him, and they weren't at a loss for anything.
Yeah.
So I definitely think because I don't see AK and Eversley adding another developmental piece if they're trying to get as close to contending as they can right now. So I see them going after veterans. I see them going after more consistent players that they know what they're going to get out of. I think that having a pick that's as high as the 18th to package with some of those players, one to two of those players that I mentioned before, it's going to be vastly dangerous for AK and Eversley. When you also throw into that, they also have an $8 million trade exception.
I agree with you. I think you have to trade the pick.
Yeah.
You have enough development pieces on this team that you have question marks about, right? Like, listen, I love Patrick Williams. He gave us that 36-point game, whatever it was. Patrick Williams hasn't been healthy, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That there's a big question mark. Listen, I hope he does turn into Kawhi Leonard or at a minimum Luol Deng and then the best defender in the NBA, like I've said he probably will be. I hope he does become that, but I can't guarantee that. There's a question there. You know why? Because I haven't seen him healthy on the court for 2 seasons. And on top of that, he hasn't had like the training camp. His college season got cut short. Like he's gone through a lot in this last 3 years of basketball for him. So there's a little bit of a setback there. Marko Seminovic, they seem to really want Marco on this team. Billy ain't playing him, but they seem to really want Marco to be a part of this team. They call him back from the Windy City Bulls. They're putting him out there on. He's literally like he was in the highlight tape today. I'm like, what the heck is Marko Seminovic doing in the highlight tape on the sideline? Like, so they seem to really want Marco to get in there. Is Kobe White going to be here? Is he not? I don't know. I'm leaning towards probably not because you're going to need a little bit more consistent shooting. But these are pieces that you have to look at and say, hey, there's possible potential if we package these pieces with a pick. And there's a lot of people in the NBA that covet Patrick Williams, probably for the reason we want him.
Mm-hmm.
But that could mean you're able to get a serious, ready-to-go piece. Sometimes you have to give up long 10, 15-year stretches for that piece to win right now. Here's the biggest thing you got to understand. You need generational talents to win in this league.
Mm-hmm.
There's no team in this league that has won an NBA. Maybe, what do we say? Maybe the Detroit Pistons?
Detroit Pistons.
Who else won without a generational talent on their team?
I'd have to look at the list of.
I mean, like
there's another one.
It's the same. It's the same 3 dudes. Maybe the Spurs before Kawhi was Kawhi. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like it's the same 3 dudes that have been to the finals for the past 20 years: LeBron, Steph, Tim Duncan, Kobe. Yeah, I'm saying so. Like, you need that level of player to be in the NBA Finals. If you think Patrick Williams is that level of player, you don't move him. But if you feel like there's an opportunity where you can get that level of player by packaging a top pick and a player of that ilk, you absolutely go after that. You got to find a way to get that done. Now, listen, Bulls, look, just not Anthony Davis. It could be any level of player, but just not Anthony Davis. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Like, who's going to be that player that you could get back in that situation? You know what I'm saying? Like,
please not Anthony Davis. Please not Anthony Davis. I would lose.
I would die if we get. But here's the thing, right? Like, Gobert's possibly in place now, maybe. I don't know how you'd pay him. You probably have to package that with Vooch. But if you want Gobert's possibly in place right now. Maybe you can go for a lesser deal. You send the pick and Kobe or the pick and somebody or a couple pieces to get Christian Wood out of Houston. Like, there's a lot of things in play now with this pick, but none of them to me are go.
Stop. Hold the presses. I love what you just said there. Christian Wood, I think, may be the guy that when you look at the combination of players who you know what you're going to get something out of, right? Yep. Christian Wood can play 4 or 5. He can come in, be the backup 5, play some 4 off the bench as well. I don't think that I think that you probably can get him by packaging a Kobe White with the pick, because at this point, Houston is just trying to get as many bites at the apple to see who's going to turn into a superstar.
Yeah.
I was against the Christian Wood thing when people were saying Patrick Williams for Christian Wood, but that may be a player that the Bulls, and I don't want to focus on names right now, but you just saying it it literally made a light bulb go off in my head, because that is a player that brings a lot of what the Bulls need.
I would love
and
it.
it's still fairly young. He's 25, 26 years old?
26, I believe. I would love it in the case that you try not to get rid of Patrick Williams, right? Like for me, like.
But let's be clear here. And you said that earlier. This front office is not getting rid of Patrick. It's not happening.
Yeah.
So
hey, listen. We can put everything we want in the trade machine.
Yeah.
AK ain't getting rid of P. Will. He had offers for legitimate players on the table that probably changed the outlook of this team this year, at least going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
He ain't getting rid of P. Will. That's his guy. He's
only
gonna ride him till the wheels fall off. Hey, unless they pick up the phone and they're like, hey, listen, we got Anthony Edwards on the line, and we could make a move for that for you if you want to send us P. Will.
I'll go one even further than that. Unless Jokic is told Denver,
we got Jokic on the line.
Listen, I'm not coming back to Denver. I want to go play for AK. And Denver's like, hey, man, listen, AK, bro, Jokic wants to come back and play for you. All we need is the first round pick. Okay, yeah, say less. We'll send the paperwork over. We can start the conversation right now. You need Vooch too to make the contracts work. Don't even worry about it.
Hey, there's a lot of people on the table if Jokic picks up the phone and says, hey, I'm looking to get up out of here.
Like, hey, don't even worry about what we're talking about.
We were thinking about sending you Michael Porter Jr. Keep that.
No. You know what's so sad about that? Is that he wanted to play for the Chicago Bulls so bad, bro.
Oh, dog.
Michael Porter Jr. wanted the Bulls to draft him.
Bro.
So badly, bro.
I've been watching MPJ since he was 14 years old. I've been talking about, I'm going to tell this story, then we're going to get up out of here. I've been talking about this player since he was 14. I said, I don't know how, but we're going to suck at some point, and that's the guy I want. I want Michael Porter. I don't care what you got to give up to get him. That's a generational player. And it came to draft day, and of course he had the back issue, and so he fell in the draft, and we had our pick at 7, and he was there. And I said, oh, God, we're actually going to get him. This is the moment. We're about to get our generational score. We're about to get that next level player. And they said, Wendell Carter Jr., and I almost died, dog. I texted Ringo, and I said, they got the wrong junior. We're going to suck forever now. Oh, God. Why do we keep drafting like this? Why won't they fire these idiots? What did we do? And I was right. Listen, Michael Porter Jr. with a bad back, I would absolutely still rather have over Wendell Carter Jr. I don't care what nobody say.
Well,
I'll wait.
Now that he's had that additional back surgery, I think like the way he was trending, even with that back, it's like, dang, man, had we taken him, how he would look. But that's okay. That's
my bad,
bro. No, because I was right along there with you, bro. Literally, I was telling people we're getting Michael Porter Jr. Like, we're getting Michael Porter Jr. When it came out that people were like, oh, well, teams are down on him. I'm like, perfect. Let him fall to us at 7. We got Michael Porter Jr. Bro, if the Bulls would have drafted Michael Porter Jr., I not only would have bought a Michael Porter Jr. jersey that day, you couldn't tell me that him and Zach LaVine wouldn't have been the next big-time duo in the NBA.
Bro, listen, I will say this. Your defense would have been atrocious.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I've never seen
but it wouldn't have been any worse than him next to DeMar DeRozan.
You know what? Yeah, it would have. I've never seen anybody play defense as bad as Michael Porter Jr. I will say that. The only person I've ever seen play defense worse was J.R. Smith when he stopped in the middle of a game to shake Buddy hand out of bounds. That's the only defense I've ever seen worse than Michael Porter Jr. He is lost. He is completely confused on defense. But he will also come out and absolutely put up 60 on your head at any moment. Stop playing with that boy. When he get back healthy, oh my goodness, dog.
But if does Michael Porter Jr. ever get back to being that impact player? That's a story for another day, though, Pat. This has been another episode of Locked On Bulls, man. I'm glad we were able to share some PTSD and trauma as Bulls fans before we were able to
Thank
head
God
out.
for AK.
But let me know what you guys think down below. What the Bulls should do with the 18th pick in the draft. Do you think they should keep it? Do you think they should move it? One thing that we didn't say on, I'm just going to end it on this before I'll let you go ahead and give the social media. Unless the Bulls see somebody who they think can be a generational steal at the 18th pick,
Yeah,
you got to trade the pick. But let me know what you guys think about it down below. But go ahead, Pat. Give them social media. Let's get up out of here.
Hey, man, follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. That's at PATTHEDESIGNER. Yes, I did go to public school, but they taught me how to spell. And you can follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls.
And you can follow me at CEO Haize, at CEO HAIZE. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day, because you guys know it means a lot to us. You can make your next listen Locked On NBA. That's from the first jump ball of the play-in tournament to the last possession of the finals. Locked On experts take you in a deep dive inside the playoffs with insight and analysis affecting all 30 teams, available wherever podcasts are available. We're out this mug. Peace, y'all.
Peace.